Good. So this is just an introduction to Neti before we actually practice Neti and take photographs and videos for your friends and family. So the purpose of Neti I explained briefly yesterday. I won't go into all of the details because there's lots of websites and books which describe the benefits of Neti. So the full name is Neti Kriya. And the Sanskrit description is Neti Jyoti Prakashini Neti, which means by practice of Neti, your eyesight becomes excellent. And what we would say is not only eyesight, what Swami says is above the diaphragm, above, you know, the diaphragm muscle, above that, 80% of disease are reduced or eliminated by Neti Kriya. And below the diaphragm line, 80% of diseases, illness, sickness, etc. are eliminated by Neti Kriya. So Neti and Neti together will help you to eliminate 80% of disease in your body. Therefore the importance of these two exercises. I should clarify that there are other types of Kriya, but we don't do that in the introduction or the intermediate, it's much later. And as I said, there's lots of information available online, in books and so on. When you feel you're ready, then you can research and investigate. So we come back to Neti. Now, in the sinuses, the nerves come very close to the surface. So that when you're massaging, you're almost directly massaging the nerves there. Now, one of the principles in yoga and in general is massage is good, whether it's for your muscles, bones, etc. Massage is a good therapy. Now, to be able to massage the sinuses is difficult because we have the bones around, we have the nose, the whole head. How do we get to the nerves in the sinuses? This is the difficult challenge. If we could get there, we can stimulate the nerves and the natural processes of cleansing will occur, and then that helps to eliminate disease, etc. from the body. Now, there are no other techniques apart from Neti which can actually reach the nerves in the sinuses. You can try massage directly from the surface, but you won't get to the point. So the yoga masters from hundreds of thousands of years invented this Neti exercise. So we can massage the sinuses from the inside, not from the outside. Obviously from the inside there's direct access to the sinus tissue and hence the nervous system. So that's briefly the theory. Basically, as you practice every day, over the days and weeks, all the bad material in the head, eyes, ears, nose, throat, chest, etc., that will be gradually removed from the body. Because the nervous system gets stimulated, it starts doing its natural work, and that triggers the process. But it's a natural process. So we are, as I said before, we're not against medicine, tablets, injection, etc. We're not against it. It has its uses in an emergency or in some special cases. But what we're saying is, in general, most people don't need too many medicine, injection, etc. You can get similar benefits by practice of yoga for 20 to 30 minutes every day. So not too much. If you can't do every day, then I would say 4 or 5 times in a week is sufficient. So you can have 1 day on, 1 day off for yoga practice. For Neti, we recommend you can do it every day for the first week, and then maybe 6 days a week for the second week. So you don't need to do it every day. You can do maybe 3 or 4 times in a week. Once you've done the initial practice for 1 or 2 weeks, then you can reduce it a little bit. Because we don't want to overdo. We don't want to massage too much, and then it causes some damage. So there's always a threshold. From 0, you get more and more benefit up to a certain point. If you do more after that point, you won't get the benefit. So same in sports. You can do some sport, you'll enjoy it for 1 hour. If you do it for 2 hours, you probably won't enjoy it. Or gym or running or anything. If you overdo it, you will get negative results. So for Neti, you can do maybe 4 or 5 minutes every day for the first, let's say 2 or 3 weeks. But then after that, you can reduce it by 1 day, and then 1 more day, until about 3 or 4 times in a week is fine. And it also depends on your time available. Sometimes you're in a rush in the morning, so you can miss that for that day, then catch up in the next day or in the weekend. So that's all fine. So that's briefly the theory. Then we come on to the practice. So the practice is the important part. Even if you don't know the theory and you're doing the practice, you're getting the benefits. So for the practice, the night before, as we did, we do the ghee neti. And there's 2 methods. Either you can apply the ghee with your small finger, and then you can cover the internal walls of the nose on both sides. That's one method. Another method is make the ghee into liquid and then lean back, either on the floor or bed or here, lean back, and either with a dropper or with a spoon or whatever you have available, just put maybe 4 or 5 drops on each side, and then just stay in that position for a few minutes. Just let it gradually go down into the sinuses, then to the throat. If you swallow, it doesn't matter, because it's ghee, it's a food. What else? You don't need to spit out. In fact, it won't even come to the mouth. You can feel it going down. You won't be able to bring it forward to spit. So just swallow, and that's fine, and it will give the benefits as well, lower down to the throat. So that's on the night before. On the day that you want to do neti, then don't have any breakfast, so no food, and if possible no drink. We want the body to be empty for neti. So the best time to do neti is morning, because you won't have eaten or drunk anything for at least 6 hours or longer. So the next step, when you're ready to start neti, what we do is reapply the ghee. So you can do ghee neti just before the rubber neti. And on the neti itself, we apply ghee. So you've got on the ghee and inside the nose, so it'll go through easily with the lubrication. In cases where you don't have ghee, Swamiji said you can use butter. In cases where you don't have butter, Swamiji said you can use any vegetable oil or any cooking oil, any food type of oil, because when you swallow it, it doesn't matter if or when, because it's going inside the body. It has to be a food quality. So, for example, you can't use any type of oil, like the machine oil or for cars or anything. It has to be a food grade oil. So that's the preparation. So the nose and the neti are lubricated with ghee or butter or any food oil. All of that is relatively easy. Next we come to putting the neti in, for which I need to demonstrate. I'm not demonstrating, I'm just showing. So, this is a rubber catheter, so it's a medical grade equipment. We will boil it before you use it, just to make sure. We bought perhaps 100 of these, so, and there's only 3 left. So a lot of people previously have tried it. So this is the way Swamiji explains it, the easy way. You hold the neti like this, as if it's the musical instrument, flute. Hold it like this. The reason for holding it like this, so you have the stiffness a little bit. You don't want it to bend. Yeah, you want a little bit of stiffness to go through. There are 3 possibilities. You can put the neti up, and if you do that, your eyes will start watering. Yes, and then you maybe sneeze and you'll pull out the neti. Yeah, so that's the wrong way to do it. So a second method is if you go horizontally. Then if you imagine going horizontally, it's going to hit the back of the throat. Then you start coughing, and this comes out. So that's the wrong method as well. So 2 wrong methods are going up because you sneeze and the neti will come out. Going straight because you start coughing and the neti will come out. So we don't want to do either of those methods. The method we want is going downwards, which is obvious when you think about it. So the way to do it, we look up to the ceiling, we hold the neti like this, and then not going up, not going straight, but going downwards. So one of the tricks of the trade is imagine the nose, and there's the floor, the wall, and the ceiling. Yes? So the floor, there's wall on the other side and the ceiling of the nose. We want to follow the floor. Follow the floor round. Don't go to the ceiling, because you'll start sneezing or coughing. Don't go to the wall, because we don't want to go sideways. We want to go down. So hold it up with 2 hands. For the front of it, for the point of the neti, put it on the floor of the nostril, one side or the other side. Put it on the floor, and then gradually follow the floor around and downwards. So when you've put in about this much, then you look in the mirror and you can see the orange end. Obviously if it's white neti, it's easier to see. That's why the ones that Swamiji made are white or cream or grey colour, so you can see it easily and pull out. This is more difficult to see, because the back of the mouth is pink or red, and this is close to the colour, so it's difficult to see. So just push it a little bit more until you see about this much. You need to see this much in the back, and then up to that point, that's all easy, relatively. The difficult bit is how to extract it. So now we go back to Swamiji's analysis, what's the easiest way and so on. The easiest way is with the two main fingers, so separate a little bit, and imagine this is at the back of the throat, so separate a little bit, you go here, close it, and then pull forward. Yes? That's one method. Another method is use the thumb and finger. So you go to the back of the throat with thumb and finger close, get a good grip, and then slowly bring through. There's a third method, advanced method. I'm only telling you for later. You don't need to practice the advanced method. Advanced method is you put it in, and then I've seen Swamiji do, and it comes forward. So no need to put all the way back. You just see it here, and then you pull it forward. So that's the advanced method. Not for this year, maybe next year or next year. I've only done it once, advanced method. It's easier just to put the fingers in and pull out. Now the problem you will have is when the point has got to the back of the throat, there will be ghee on there, and there may be mucus, etc. So when you try to grab it, you will slip. Either the ghee or the mucus, you'll slip. And in fact, Swamiji once said mucus is very similar to ghee, in fact, similar properties. So the difficulty is not so much about putting the fingers back, but how to hold it securely and bring it forward. So that's the challenge for you. If you try for half an hour and you don't succeed, then I will do it for you. So we prefer that each individual gets the full experience, does it for themselves, so that for the next few days and weeks and months you're confident. In rare cases you might need some encouragement or some assistance, so then I ask you to open the mouth and just directly grab it. I know some teachers have like a stick. Don't worry about that. But you could use the
chopsticks.
Yeah. Is that a better option? And then you get better grip as well, because the fingers might also be with ghee. Because you're holding this, you'll get some ghee on the fingers. So it's a bit difficult to pull out. Once you've pulled out, it's all easy from that point. So we just lean forward, imagine this is in, and then we massage forwards. Then the extra, as a bonus, we take some water in the mouth, keep the water in the mouth, hold the breath, and then massage again. Maybe 2 or 3 times, take water again, do the massage. And lots of things your body doesn't require will come out. On the first time, a lot. Next time, maybe a bit less. And then after a few months, not so much. Then you're at the healthy level. What else is there in terms of instruction? So one of the important things for students when they're trying to do this is because they are frightened of Neti. What they do is they get tense. So the shoulders get tense, the head gets tense, face and so on. So they can't actually do it because they're all tense. So what we say is, when you look up, breathe in and say Om. Or by that Om, what happens is the nasal passages get opened up a little bit. So it makes it easier. So you say Om and then you pass it through. Now, yeah, you can feel it even when you lift up and Om, you can feel the expansion of the nasal passage. So that's one thing to help you relax and help the Neti go through. Second thing is the left hand problem. So because people are frightened, they tighten the left hand and they're trying to put this in, but that's tight. It doesn't go anywhere. Same with a belt. When you're putting a belt, you have to shuffle the belt. You can't hold one and expect it to go all the way around. So you need to relax the hands. So when a little bit goes in, suppose you start here, little bit goes in, you need to adjust. You can't really start from here because it's too loose. You need a bit of rigid. So go in, and then as it's going in, you need to do a little movement to push it in like this, and then little movements to push out or bring out at the end. I think those are the two main points. Relax and also make sure the Neti is not being held tightly. What else is there? It may take 15 or 20 minutes, don't worry. Just take your time, relax, however long it takes, that's how long it takes. I mentioned yesterday, Swamiji would line up 50 people, especially when he's visiting army or any services, because they have the discipline already. So he lines them up, literally 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, finished, next person, 1, 2, 3, finished, 1, 2, 3, finished, like sewing. Yes, it's very impressive. I know because Jack and John obviously explained to everyone. And just imagine, most of the time, perhaps they didn't have ghee available, so it was raw rubber, so a bit more difficult. Maybe they didn't have any butter or maybe oil or whatever. If they're in the, what do you call their station in the mountains, maybe there's not enough, maybe they don't even have enough water, so it makes it more challenging to do the Neti. So minimum is 3 seconds. We don't expect you to do it in 3 seconds, unless you want to. You want to do it in 3 seconds?
3 seconds? Yeah.
Okay, we will aim for 3 seconds. So once you have it, you can see in the mirror, once you have it, then either use the 2 fingers or finger and thumb and pull it forward. It will take, on average it takes maybe 5 minutes. If it takes 10 minutes, don't worry. If it takes 15 minutes, don't worry. If you're still there at 20 minutes, I'll do it for you, so you get the full experience of Neti. And then you can keep Neti for about 5 minutes. So sometimes with the water, sometimes just lean forward, let everything come out, and sometimes just relax, turn around, I take a photo, you do a big smile. When we do the photo, we normally have it like this. So you hold, if it's on the right side, pull this side, from the mouth, pull this side, and then smile, big smile. And then you can show all your friends, and they'll say, we want to do it as well. And yes, you can say, yes, it only takes 3 minutes. No, 3 seconds. So when you see my example on the YouTube, so putting in is not very long. Just goes in, out, then second one in, out, and then massage both. You don't need to do 2. That's called a double neti. You don't need to do 2. But if you have 1 spare, or if you have 2, then you can do the same session in half the time. So instead of doing one side 5 minutes, other side 5 minutes, you can do everything in 5 minutes. Because I've got the blockage at the moment, because of the cold and so on, I can't actually show you myself.
Is it good to do when you have a blockage, or
no?
No.
Don't. The general rule, not only for Neti Kriya, but for everything in yoga, either don't do any yoga if you have either cold or flu or any other problem. Don't do it for a few days. Let the problem go away itself, and then start the yoga. That's the ideal. If you really want to do yoga, then you can do reduced amount. So where you might do, say, 20 repetitions, just do 10. Where you might do half an hour of yoga, just do 10 minutes. So you can reduce it a lot if you want to do something. Otherwise, just do nothing. Just have a rest, do the relaxation. Oh, you can do meditation. So what I'm saying is, don't do the pranayama and the physical exercises. You can do meditation, you can do visualization, affirmation, lots of other things you can do, but not so much the physical or the breathing. Good. Any questions?
No.
Any questions? No questions?
No question.
One question. I'm disappointed. So normally, when I was young and learning from Jack and John, because we go once every year for 1 week training, then during the year I would build up my list of questions. By the time I get to the course, I would have 20 questions. And then Jack would slowly go through, what's the next question, then give the answer, what's the next question. Sometimes he gave the answer, but maybe I didn't understand what the answer was, because it's from his point of view, not knowing my reason for asking the question. So, while you're doing Neti, we don't do the video, but once you've got the end version, then we either take a photograph or video, however you want to do it.
I don't need a video or...
So no video, at least take a photograph that you've achieved this status.
해서 찍자고.
Should
왜? You don't want, I want.
You want it?
Yeah.
Okay.
you can take hers.
No, take both. So, are you ready for this one? Or would you prefer the other one? Hold on. Where did I put it? Secret.
이게 끓는 물에 넣어야 되나?
몰라? Boiling water. You need a...
Yes, start boiling the water.
Okay.
But before you start,
We need a neti.
have a seat. What I'm suggesting for you is this one, because it's a bit thinner, and usually we have this for either children or younger people, or people possibly they may find this one uncomfortable because it's thicker. This one may be more comfortable for you, so I suggest this one for you. You can keep it either in the bag or. But first, what we're doing, so one of each.
First try this one or this one?
No,
No,
just
you go
go to
for
this one.
Okay.
Unless you want to try this one, your choice.
Okay. First I try this, and
Yeah.
after I try this.
What? So when we were young, we started with this one when we were about 13 or 14. We started with this one. After about 2 or 3 years, then we moved to the thicker one. So it's your choice. Just stay with one, or you can have both if you want.
이 string을 share 해야 되나? It can possible to share to other people?
No.
No?
Not recommend,
Okay.
because it's going inside the body. So it's better to have separate.
아니 혹시나 가능한가?
아, 뭐 쉐어를 따로 사서.
Eye bath you can share.
Okay.
It's not going in the body, but the tongue cleaner
Or
is going in,
this
so
one?
don't share.
No.
This one, don't share. Like toothbrush, you don't share.
Yeah.
So better not to share. But it's up to you, your choice. I would say this one is more suitable for you,
Yeah.
and it's also solid. It's a proper neti material, whereas this is a medical catheter.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay for neti, but it's not designed for neti. That's the difference. This is designed for neti. And in fact, just to encourage you a little bit more, this is actually cut by Swami.
Oh, really?
This one is just from a shop.
Okay.
So it's your choice. You can have both or choose one.
I choose one. This one.
Choose this one for the moment.
Yes.
Practice for a year,
Yes.
and then decide if you want to move to the next one or not. The thickness doesn't make too much difference. It's just from your shape of the head. I think this is better. For Jay, this is better. Or the electrical. Just as a joke. Jack used to bring electrical cable and say, this is your neti. For people who are very keen. And then they suddenly realise, no, we want the ordinary medium size one.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I prepare the boiling water.
Yeah, prepare the water and then we boil the neti for 1 minute.